Welcome to the Accellos 1 Collect for GP Migration Overview. Today we're going to discuss the benefits of moving from our InTouch distribution platform to Collect for GP. What is Collect for GP? Collect for GP is our new flagship product for data collection, light WMS, and manufacturing automation exclusively designed for Dynamics GP. As many of you know, InTouch distribution has been utilized by over 400 Dynamics GP users over the past 10 years. We've taken the knowledge gained from those past 10 years and built Collect for GP from the ground up for better speed, flexibility, and configurability to the end user. So, why move to Collect for GP? One of the key reasons is better performance. The product has been written in a .NET object-oriented infrastructure, giving the user better performance. The application is also now multi-threaded. This allows us rapid response time from the RF devices regardless of the transaction volume or the number of users. With InTouch distribution, you used to be able to have 15 to 20 handheld devices per barcode host machine. Now, with only one host machine, we can handle over 100 handhelds in operation. We've also dramatically increased the flexibility and configurability of the application. With now over 1,000 configuration options within the software, we can give the customers an out-of-the-box solution that can simply be configured to meet their specific requirements, thereby increasing productivity from the end users to the warehouse management team. You'll also note an improved and consistent feel to each RF transaction, reducing training time and improving end user speed. For users that need a different language displayed on the RF device, we've now also added a multi-language transaction table. Collect for GP supports GP versions 9 through 2010 and all future releases from Microsoft, including 64-bit compatibility and the ability to run in a virtual environment. The new architecture of the Collect for GP platform gives us expanded integration capabilities to not only other Accellos products, but also the development of new modules within this series. Let's take a look at what we've been talking about. Welcome to my Collect for GP barcode host machine. Here you'll notice some of the main differences between the InTouch and Collect for GP software. First, we have the Collect for GP listener. This utility tells us each of the RF devices connected to the system and what process it's currently working on. As I mentioned earlier, you can now run over 100 handhelds per barcode host machine. Second is our DPS. Our Collect DPS frees up your RF devices to move on to their next task so no users are ever waiting for data to finish processing inside of GP. Third is our management configuration dashboard. Here you can see all of our modules laid out in a new, easy-to-use interface. Now let's get into some of the changes within the application itself. First from a management perspective, then from the RF handheld side. We now manage security through a user group methodology. So here we have one group called default user, and you can see all the individual users that belong to that user group. A user group can be one or multiple individuals. You can have any number of user groups set up within the overall solution set. This enables you to have very diverse configurations by role, task, seniority, division, or site. If I go to the handheld settings for this user group, you're able to see where we've stored the over 1,000 configuration options within the software. And you'll note a new look and feel to the ability to select specific options within the application. Of these, there are three main types of configuration options, and by far the most are functional configurations. Functional configurations are things like, do we allow over receipt or do we disallow over receipt? Or do we allow over receipt and enforce a specific percent tolerance of acceptability? The two other main types of configuration options are what we call response validation and screen looping. In response validation, if you think of your RF device, we have a full 1/4-inch VGA display screen, an alphanumeric keypad, and a fully integrated scanner. So we can restrict the method of input by not only role or task that we are involved in, but also by the individual user logged into that handheld. The last area would be what we call screen looping. And screen looping is the order sequence in which prompts appear on the RF device. So we can now configure what prompts are displayed to a user or group, and also the order in which they appear. Now let's bounce out to the RF device. Here you'll notice a more graphical interface to more easily navigate through the menu options. If your end users prefer the current InTouch appearance, we have the option to display that as well. In addition to the way the information is displayed, we've made some big changes to the ease of use, configurability, and consistency to the warehouse personnel. Let's take a look at the receiving transaction to best illustrate these changes. So we'll go ahead and select one for receiving here, and that can either be done using a handheld with a touchscreen and a stylus, or if you prefer to navigate the menu by typing, you can do that as well. The first thing you'll notice here is that we have a highlighted field on the screen. In this case, it's PO number. And you can tell that it's PO 1 of 36 down here in the bottom right-hand corner. That lets us know that we can scroll through 36 different purchase orders that we could receive against. Now, you can either select from this list of purchase orders to receive against, or you could type in a PO number, or using response validation that we spoke about a little bit earlier, you could force the user to scan the PO number from something like a packing list that comes with your shipment. So let's go ahead and receive against the purchase order. First thing you'll note is that now item is highlighting, indicating that you have one of 4 items left to be received against this purchase order. So we'll go ahead and receive this first item here. And we're prompted for a quantity. We can enter in eaches, but we also have the option to receive an alternate unit of measures for this transaction and all the others across our solution set. One thing to note here is since that we receive the remaining 900 quantity of that first line item, it's immediately removed from the list over here. So we can go ahead and move to our next item. And we're being prompted for a lot. And now we can go ahead and receive 100 of these items 17002. And note that we've tried to receive over our 20% tolerance, so we are not allowed. Let's go ahead and receive the remaining 25 here. Again, to lot A. And note that we can edit lot attributes as well as serial attributes now with collect for GP. So let's go ahead and post this transaction. And note that they're telling us that we have some missing items here. There's 2 items left to be received. We can send a report to our team here, letting them know that we have some missing items on this purchase order, or we can go ahead and complete the receipt and post to GP. Moving back to the Collect for GP dashboard, we can take a look at our new improved physical inventory, stock count, and cycle count capabilities. We created a new user interface through Dashboard, so users no longer have to use the Dynamics GP stock count schedule and stock count entry windows. This has enabled us to add additional features, such as the ability to execute a directed or undirected stock count, or the ability to count quantity on hand versus the quantity available. All counts that are performed once started are tracked back to the dashboard, where you can view the individual details of everything that has incurred, including some additional management information, such as not only overall variance, variance percent, cost variance, and any errors that might have occurred. And you can actually drill down to each one of these transactions to show the individual details of exactly what happened during your stock count. Not only is traceability tracked in our physical inventory, but further improved traceability is logged in our transaction logging tables. Here we can bring up the entire history of everything that occurred through the RF devices, from transaction type, the user, which handheld was used for the transaction, start and end times as well as dates, and we can even drill down in this information further for some greater detail to show, was this information actually scanned, or maybe was it typed into the device. Full traceability is provided in our transaction logging tables here, and this data is easily able to be archived, stored, and purged from the transaction logging tables in your Dynamics database. Thank you for watching the Collect for GP migration overview today. I hope that you further explore what this product can do for your organization, and in order to help encourage that exploration, we have a special migration package in place for existing Accellos customers. For any additional details or questions on this package or the product itself, please feel free to reach out to me directly at the information listed here. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.